Earl Orr, Kilkelly, Mayo, Ireland. 22nd of December 1862. My dear son, I got your letter on yesterday, and I am most happy to hear that you are still well as myself and family are at present, and we are very glad to hear from you on the Christmas holidays and moreover of yourself being in your usual health. We were very much uneasy for you this time past consequent on the war, least that it may have been too near where you are and that you may have met any accident, but the arrival of your letter has given us better news to record. Thanks be to God. I have had much pleasure in hearing the contents of your letter, particularly the point where you referred to coming home on a visit, as we would be most anxious to see you at home once more, among your friends and relations, and according to your suggestions, if you should chance to get out of employment, we expect that you will come home, and do not make any delay, as going from one place to another when times are unsettled is not at all commendable. I am glad to say that Michael is at home for the last fortnight and quite well, and is most anxious to know whether you would recommend him for his going to that country, but how you ask about that and to expect yourself home. You may know that Michael is not yet married. An accident has happened here last year, of which I suppose you have been apprised in the last letter. But lest that we forget mentioning it, it may be well to repeat it here. Michael had been coming home from a funeral last year, and he on horseback. He and Thomas Harkson were driving somewhat hard. They knocked down a man of the name, Thomas Callahan of Culmore. The said Callahan instituted a lawsuit against Michael and Harkson, and a degree was awarded for the sum of £12 and 12 shillings. Harkson paid his part and Michael did not pay his part, consequent my going to W. Stickland, who told me that he could not charge Michael while he stands as he is, however. But Callahan will endeavour to make good his claim, if he only can get opportunities if coming about Michael. You want to know about our circumstances, as I understand when you refer to the wealth. I am glad to say that our circumstances have not declined since you left, but to speak many are at present of low circumstances consequent to the failure of the crops for the last 4 years, which offered very badly in some places, and in other places the crops were pretty good just according to the nature of the soil. Damp soils has done badly for the last few years owing to the almost constant wet, and owing to the wet there was no turf of any consequence, and people were very for fire stuff. You may know that there is not such circulation of money, as at other times, and people having money can do well. What do you think? But you could situate yourself pretty well in this country, and if you think so, you ought to make up your mind about deporting your money so that you would have it secure. As by sending it to Mr. Strickland it would be quite safe, he would leave it the bank for you. I understand you have been informed that one of the Clunian girls came home some time ago and the other came home sometime in the month of September. Mary, who came home latterly, wishes to inform you that she came, and she wishes also to know from you about the state of the country, and if it should turn out somewhat better she would wish to go out again. I am glad to inform you that myself, and your mother, and brothers, and sisters are quite well, and almost happy to hear from you, as it is great consolation to us to hear of your good state of health, and they all join with me with love and best respects to you, and so does your brother-in-law Podonnell, who is present at the writing of this. Send his love and best respects. No more at present from you loving father, Brian Hunt. Dear son, I mean to include a few lines to the inside requesting of to take proper good of yourself and of your earnings, for there is nothing so scarce in this country as money, for these are different to times you are used to. A man having money can do well, and if you consider to come home you can get a choice situation and live happy among your friends, and I will recommend you, if you got opportunity, to send your money to W. Charles Strickland. He will deposit it in the bank for you, and in case you would come home you would have his good will. Provisions rates as follows: best oats 1 shilling per hundredweight, potatoes 2 shillings and 6 per hundredweight, oatmeal 10 shillings per hundredweight, butter 6 per pound. No more at present, but we would be very glad that you would inquire about Pat McNamara and family. Brother Michael would be very glad to see you at home and sends you his best respects. We will expect a letter from you in March. Excuse me, my pen is bad. Tom Hunt. Sinamara.